Today we're going to hit 10,000 trophies in Clash Royale on my second account. And we're going to be working with this Goblin Drill, Evo Bomber, Evo Tesla deck. And I really think this is a good free-to-play deck because you have the Evo Bomber and Evo Tesla, which were both recently given away for free. So you guys should all be able to play this deck regardless of if you have bought a bunch of passes or whatever. And so we're going to be working with this deck, and we're going to be playing against all the mid-ladder menaces that come up. But along the way, we're going to be sharing some tips and tricks to help you guys get 10,000 trophies or a new trophy best or to ultimate champion. Because these are tips and tricks can apply whether you're Muhammad Light or you're just a new beginner. So let's get into the first game. So the first tip I want to talk about is to focus on the game. So a lot of times when people play Clash Royale, they take it very, how do I say this, not very seriously. So I'm not trying to say that you don't make the game, the game should be fun. You should enjoy it when you play it, and you shouldn't you don't have to be a pro to enjoy the game. But if you want to improve and you want to hit 10,000 trophies, you should minimize the distractions, and you should focus on the game. Like maybe not do it in a room of crowded people, maybe try to avoid playing in the car when the data is a little spotty. Things like that just will help you kind of lock up your gameplay and play more consistently in each match. So it looks like here we're versing a Hog Rider deck, and there comes down a Mega Knight, which I swear is very common at this ladder range. So we're just going to pull that to the middle, play a high Tesla, and this should be a pretty smooth defense. We're going to get the Ice Spirit just to make sure that Hog Rider doesn't break through, and that's a pretty clean defense. So that's another thing, just kind of be defensive. Like, I'm not being too over aggressive, I'm not spamming drills. That's something else that's really, really important for you guys, is a lot of people are super aggressive at the start of games, and they just get in a bad position. And now I know that his Mega Knight's out of cycle, and so this Goblin Drill should do some good work. And we'll see what he's going to play on this, maybe an E-Wiz, and there we go, the E-Wiz is down. We get the Fireball down. No Goblin Stabs, maybe I should have predicted it, but you don't really want to go in too risky plays. It's better to play consistently good than to make one crazy play. So I would just recommend just consistently getting your damage in and playing smart, playing effectively, and just slowly working away. Oh, and there we messed up our Tesla placement, but it's not the end of the world. He's going to get one hog hit and a firecracker shot, so that's a pretty big mistake by me. But I know we're going to be able to keep this game on lock because we're going to keep these tips and tricks in mind. So we get one Goblin Stab there, and we have a Mega Knight coming in. So I think we're going to get a high Tesla down, and that's going to snipe that firecracker, hopefully. And it doesn't. I think we're going to have to go for a defensive drill here, and hopefully take no damage. Yep. That's perfect. Good defense. Let's try and get our King Tower activated. There we go. Perfect. And he's spamming quite a bit, but we're fine. We have all the cards we need to defend his pushes. And we're going to get... That's another thing, is stay calm. When people are spamming and doing crazy things, just stay calm and play your cards down, and you'll be fine. And you'll be able to get through the situation. So I don't think he has a big spell either. We're just going to set up with a Tesla, nice and calm, Bomber, Knight close. We're going to take that out with a Fireball right away. We don't want to deal with that. And we end up hitting the Hog Rider too, making that a very easy defense. We're going to go with the Goblin Drill once again, keeping up the pressure. And he's got the Lumberjack. Hopefully our Goblin gets on the tower. No, it does not. But that's alright. Tesla takes a shot there. And we're going to drop a Bomber to take care of this Firecracker. And a Tesla up in the middle. And the Bomber does not go for the Firecracker, which is a little bit tragic, but there we go. There's the shot we needed. And he's going to go for a Mega Knight at the bridge. And he has Inferno Dragon. It's the first time he's played that this game. And I think we're going to go for a Fireball. We got to make sure we take this out. And a Log. And his evil firecracker got a shot on our tower, which is very unfortunate. Oh, and the lumberjack. Okay. We gotta lock in, guys. I might not be talking for a little bit, because we really gotta lock in here. But don't you guys worry. We are gonna clutch up this game. No problem. We're gonna go for another Goblin Drill. Pressure while defending. Ice Spirit. And I think he's gonna go E-Wiz on that, so we're gonna... Oh, there we go. Predicted the E-Wiz just like that. And we just got a lot of damage and got into the damage lead. And just like that, we clutched up a game that seemed like we were losing control of, just because we kept our cool and we kept up the pressure and we won that game. And there we go. That was a great comeback. I'm actually very happy with that prediction there on the E-Wiz. So let's get into the next game. And let's move on to some of the next tips. So another tip, really important, is to have a good deck. So a lot of people, especially at like the mid-ladder range, under 10,000 trophies, have decks that are just insane. Like, I don't know, Golem, Mega Knight, whatever. And you really just can't sustain. It's not a consistent enough deck to be able to win against good opponents, or not just good opponents, but it's very, your games are very matchup dependent. Looks like our opponent just activated our King Tower for us. A bit misplayed Tesla, but it'll get that defense done. But speaking of decks, you gotta just make sure you have a win condition, you have air defense, you have ground tanks, and you have your distraction cards. And let me think. Win condition, ground tank, air defense, probably a troop defense, like a building, or other things like that. You're gonna get a nice spirit up high and a log on that witch, and that bomber shot is gonna take care of that nicely. You just want to have all the parts of a deck to make it run smoothly. Like you can look at the top ladder decks to kind of get ideas and references for things you should use in your decks, because homemade decks are great. You can play a homemade deck, but you just have to make sure you have all the parts. For example, let's say I really like to play Hog Rider, but I want to play 2.6. I can play Hog Rider, Knight, Tesla, and Electro Wizard, and then have Fire Spirit and Goblins. And that'll be a very good deck, even though it's a homemade deck, and it might not be the most meta deck, but it'll get the job done. And you'll be able to win games, you'll be able to beat people in the arena, even though your deck might not be the most meta, but it'll get the job done because you made your deck with the pieces it needs to be a good deck. You have your win condition, you have your Hog Rider, you have your air defense, you have your Electro Wizard, and you have your win condition defense, you have your cannon, and you have your spells. You have a big spell, small spell, you have your fireball, and you have your log, or your zap, or your snowball, whatever it might be. Just make sure your deck is balanced where you can have all these components that you need. You guys can see this. I'm fireballing this firecracker, and I'm not even hitting the tower most of the time, just because I really don't want to deal with it. I just want to get it off the board and not have to worry about this firecracker. And we're just kind of chilling, we're just defending, and just taking the game slow. Nice and slow, and we're getting our work in. Very nice evil bomber. Taking care of everything. And there we go. A very simple defense, and we're going to be able to get a fireball on the tower. There we go. And a log. And we're just keeping it nice and slow, simple defense, just playing smart. And we're going to be able to lock down most of these games, especially like in this trophy range. These players aren't making crazy plays. They're not like outplaying you every second. They're honestly making a lot of mistakes. And if you just play solid gameplay most of the time, you're gonna be able to win so many games at this trophy range. So that was a bit of panic there. I didn't have my login cycle because I used it on the Goblin Gang. But now we have that Evo Tesla down that is going to protect our tower very nicely. And we're going to instantly fireball that to get it off our tower. Beware the Evo Mega Knight, distract it, and we are doing just fine. We're going to go for this Goblin Drill. And I think, yep, I can hit that Witch, which will be very nice. Get a Tesla down and a Knight up high. And we're going to go for this. Then we can cycle our log. And there's just 10 seconds left in this game. This game is already pretty much over. And there we go. A very good game. I mean, in triple and double elixir, I almost just defended. I think I went for one Goblin Drill. And I just kept the game rolling. And that goes back to kind of being defensive. You don't have to be so aggressive. If you're in the damage lead, keep the damage lead. Just play your game, play your match, and really most people won't be able to break through if you're keeping a solid defense. And another tip that I think is really, really useful that you guys can do is to utilize single elixir to learn your opponent's deck. So especially at this trophy range, people can throw anything at you. You never know what people have got in their decks. And you really need to make sure that you're not going to get surprised by something and that you're keeping track of their cards. For example, if I'm playing Royal Hogs and my opponent is playing Mega Knight and he drops it on me, I'm likely not going to go all four of my Royal Hog the bridge on one side at the next play because he's going to make a really hard push for me to defend, right? And many people will say, oh, I didn't really make a mistake. I'm not really sure what happened. Like, his Mega Knight just killed all my hogs. I'm not really sure what I did wrong. But going for those hogs, having that, like, just slight overcommitment made a counter push impossible to defend. So learning your opponent's deck in single elixir and keeping track of his cards, you don't have to completely know every single card and keep track of it. You don't have to have a perfect understanding. But to explain that, so my opponent just played the Evo Executioner or regular Executioner, it doesn't matter. And so he'll have his Executioner back in cycle after he plays 4 more cards. So I'll count it with you guys. So his Executioner was his last card. I think he's waiting to play his Hog, right? He has Hoggies. Wow, that's interesting. So he just played Hoggies Goblin Gang. That's 2 cards. And let's see what he plays to defend this knight. Mini P.E.K.K.A, that's 3 cards. So 1 more card and our opponent will have the Executioner once again in cycle. Maybe he won't play it. And man, I'm sorry guys, I'm not playing the best right now. I just misplayed my Tesla again. But we only give up 1 hog hit. We're going to have to really lock in to get this game. And there's the Executioner. Granted, he did play the Hog, which made that 1 extra card. Oh my gosh, look at the Evo Bomber. That was actually insane. Goated Evo Bomber. So we're just going to go for a Fireball on this. Very super good value Fireball right there. And we are back in this game. We're actually in the damage lead. And I don't believe our opponent has a spell. So you can see this is part of the deck building. Our opponent sacrificed maybe having a big spell to have this double win condition deck. He wanted Piggies and he also wanted Hog Rider. But what happened when he has Piggies and Hog Rider? He lost his small spell or his big spell. Like, he's missing cards that are very fundamental to be able to win games and win matchups just because he wanted to have Piggies and Hog Rider. So this is really important when you're thinking of making your deck, that you keep in mind what cards you're going to lose if you take out cards that are important to decks. And that is tragic. We're going to have to log there to make sure we don't take any unnecessary damage. Just those Piggies kind of jumping to my half-dead Tesla really kind of that hurt me there. We're going to go for a fireball here. Hopefully that'll get us some goblin stabs. And very nice. We take a very nice damage lead right there. Thanks to those. Interesting Hog Rider from my opponent. He goes up in the middle. We're just going to save our fireball for his piggies. We know we can defend his piggies with fireball. And we can defend his Hog Rider. And there we go. And that's all defended. So just save your cards for what he's got. We're over defending a little bit, but that's okay. We can afford to over defend. We're just gonna set up a Tesla. We're just gonna keep the game nice and simple. We can afford to go for a fireball right here because we have our defense already set up. We're gonna go for this here, bomber in the middle to DPS that down, log, and another fireball just to make sure, and we can place a Tesla even, just to make sure we really get everything locked down. And our opponent, you can see he's desperate. He went for an Executioner of the Bridge, just because we're just playing slow and steady. We're keeping our head on, and we're really making sure that we take care of this game. And I mean, there we go. We really locked up that game. I mean, you could see in Single Elixir I made a few mistakes, but I locked in and I made sure that I would get the game closed out and defeat my opponent. And going into this last game, one final tip that I think will really help you guys out is to not be afraid. You just gotta play the game. You just, like, let's say you're a few trophies away from your best, or you're at your trophy best. Don't be afraid to play. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You're not going to improve if you're not playing the game. You're not going to improve if you're not trying new things. That was really aggressive from my opponent. But you can see we fireballed there, and he's going to get punished because he used so much elixir. And we get a lot of damage on his tower. But just play the game. Don't be afraid of losing. Don't be afraid of going on a losing streak. And don't be afraid of losing your trophy best. You gotta play. If you're not playing, you're not gonna improve. If you're not playing, and let's say you're an ultimate champion and you want to get top 10k, but you're also at your personal best, but just play. You just gotta play and you're gonna improve, slowly but surely. So I will say maybe that was a bit of a mistake from me playing that fireball, because he does have the minion horde, but we're gonna be wary of his minion horde and try to cycle to our counters to that, or get back to our fireball, or have our Tesla ready. Looks like our opponent is gonna go for a giant in the back. We're just gonna get a Tesla. We're 2 more cards back to the cycle thing. We're 2 cards away from our fireball. There we go, log, and there we go. Those 3 musketeers are dead. So in a cycle deck, keep track of what card is coming next. I really am afraid of our opponent going for a minor minion horde the bridge right now. So we're gonna keep up the pressure to try to not allow our opponent to do that. And we're gonna set up an Evo Bomber here to hit the tower a few times and get a nice interaction for us right there. Oh man, we're gonna need a fireball here for sure. But we're fine. Like, our opponent got a little bit of damage. Maybe we slipped up a little bit on defense. Our Ice Spirit didn't jump, but we're fine. So don't, keep your cool head. We're okay. We're still in this game. We're winning, in fact. And we have a very good advantage right now. We're going to try and get back to our fireball. Take care of those muskies. Maybe it would have been better to save my fireball for that side, but we're fine. We're just going to defend nicely. Bring his troops to the middle. Now, we're going to take a little bit of damage here. We're going to fireball this minion horde. And actually, our opponent did get quite a bit of damage there. And he actually is coming back here, so we're going to have to really lock in. So I'm pretty sure he has barbs and cycle, if I remember correctly. So I'm gonna try and cycle to my fireball really quickly because I want to get this. There we go. So we're gonna go for this Evo Tesla, and that shock is hopefully gonna hit everything. Doesn't quite hit everything I wanted to, but we are just fine. Skeletons for the miner. And we're going to have to log this right here. I just don't trust all my troops to take care of all of that. Just going to keep it rolling. Nice and steady. Man, this guy's deck is stressing me out. Okay, we're just going to immediately fireball that. And Evo Bomber is going to take care of that as well. There we go. Perfect. Evo Bomber is insane. I love the Evo Bomber. Okay. We're going to go for a prediction fireball on his barbs. And so, okay, let me explain that a little bit right there, because that actually just won me the game. So our opponent had nothing in cycles to defend our drill except for the barbs. Because well, I don't think he had to do his Goblin Gang in cycle, if I remember. Well, okay, to be honest, I played Fireball there, not just for the barbs, but in general because he had no other card that would defend my drill. And wow, Supercell is cheesing us with the 9,999. So I guess this might be a little bit longer of a video, and we're gonna try and get to that 10,000 right now. But just like that play right there, that prediction fireball rather than a reaction fireball, because in that moment my drill is going to win the tower and take the game. So he has no choice but to defend with his best drill defense card, and his best drill defense card is Barbarians or Goblin Gang, and both of those are going to die to the fireball and give me the tower and the game. So just kind of learning from the patterns of the opponent. One more thing that I just remembered from my notes is adapt as you play. Don't play the exact same style every game. Like, I feel like a lot of people come up with this idea that, okay, my push, I'm going to go Golem the back, and then I'm going to go Healer behind the Golem and Electro Dragon, and if I get that perfect push, no one will be able to beat me. It's going to be undefendable. But realistically, how many times in a game are you going to get that perfect push? Probably never, honestly. You really aren't going to get the perfect push down because every game is different. Every game has different circumstances, every game has different matchups, and you never know what your opponent is going to pull out. You never know how he's going to play or what he's going to do against certain cards or certain scenarios, and you really just have to be careful of relying on one push or on one way of doing things. You have to adapt in game. Like, for example, there I adapted to Fireball on my drill, even though maybe that's a little bit aggressive in other parts of the game or it wouldn't have worked. Or that guy started coming back, didn't he? And I actually was starting to lose. So I had to adapt my playstyle to be able to come back and win that game. So our opponent is winning here. And I feel a little bit like a fool because I haven't really been keeping track of his cycle or doing what I've been telling you guys to do. But he is running a Miner Spam bait deck with the Mega Knight. And I believe he's going to drop Mega Knight on this. But that should get some... it doesn't get any damage on the tower. I was really hoping that our... Oh, that Evo Tesla not hitting anything is tragic. Oh man, this is really rough. I'm not gonna lie, guys, we're not playing the best, but our opponent... We're gonna see what we can do. So I'm assuming he's gonna go Miner. We're gonna predict it with the Skellies and the Tesla, and that will also take care of those bats. And we're gonna go for a Fireball on this as well. Maybe a little aggressive, but we really got to get some damage in. And we're going to go for another Tesla close to the tower. Because we have both those Teslas there, I want to get the value out of both of them. So we're going to go for a Knight close, log on that Dart Goblin, and we're just going to Fireball this side. No need to do anything fancy or extra. We're just going to Fireball that, and then it's a +1 trade. Okay, so our opponent just used his Mega Knight. we're just gonna go Tesla here. Maybe it's not the optimal placement, maybe it is. It's not, it doesn't have to be the perfect placement. It just has to be good enough for our situation and our purposes. So here we're gonna go in. And he's probably gonna play Mega Knight on this. And the Evil Bomber! Oh my gosh, the Evil Bomber actually clutched up on his push there. And got us a lot of damage. So we're gonna cycle. We're gonna go for another drill. He doesn't have his Mega Knight in cycle. And we're just gonna play a log on this Skelly Barrel. No reason to overreact on it. And just like that, we came back. Really, like, I adapted. You guys can, like, adapting in your game, you can't play the same way the whole game, or you're gonna lose. Your opponent is gonna predict you, your opponent is gonna learn what you're doing, and you're gonna lose. We just got 1 trophy. That's kind of funny. 1 trophy. But there you go, guys. Just like that, I hit 10,000 trophies while commentating for you guys, and I really hope this video will help you guys out get 10,000 trophies on your own accounts and be able to hit a new trophy best or get to Ultimate Champion. I really hope you guys can get there. Leave comments below if you have any questions, or if you want me to make a video in specific about something, some interactions, or some decks that you guys would like to see. But I'm really grateful for you guys to stick around for the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.